And good morning, everybody. It's time now for Putnam County Today here on 94.3 WREB. With us this morning, Chris Edwards with Emergency Management. You're into the weather, the whole bit, right?
Yes.
And of course, next week is Severe Weather Preparedness Week here in Indiana. And I thought it'd be a great opportunity to bring you in and, I guess, get us prepared.
Yeah. Well, next week is starting next Monday. The Weather Service will have a safety lesson on their website and on the not amateur radio, but the weather network, the 162-400 megahertz weather radios, of safety tips of differences between watches, warnings, advisories that they have now. They've introduced the last couple of years. And they'll be touching up on some new things and new developments through the week that they are touch and go working on in the plans of in the future. And the Severe Storms Laboratory out there in Oklahoma, they'll be having some information about them as well.
Okay. Now, I guess really what we need to do is, again, bring our listeners up to date on what a watch and a warning is.
Yeah. A watch is, depending on the type, severe thunderstorm a severe thunderstorm watch, for example, is conditions are favorable for a warning to be issued later in the day, generally within 4 to 6 hours within the time frame of the watch box actually being issued. The watches are actually issued, a lot of people think they are issued by the National Weather Service in Indianapolis, but they're actually all watch boxes, tornado and severe thunderstorms are issued out of Norman, Oklahoma by the Severe Storms Prediction Center.
Oh, okay.
And the local offices, like Indianapolis, for example, for Central Indiana, Northern Indiana, Chicago, and North Webster, Indiana, they split up northern half of Indiana. Those offices do the actual warnings.
Okay.
On a local scale, as in per county and so forth, and advisories and whatever else may come up.
All right. And I want to remind folks too that, in March it's a little different because you can have, really hot weather, you can have really cold weather. We talked a little earlier about having some snow flurries still here in March. Mm-hmm. This week it's been really nice. We're going to hit a high tomorrow around 60 degrees. Yes. But along with that warmer weather, hitting that cold air, that's what really starts problems, right?
Yeah, when that warm air starts surging north, actually beginning in February, didn't seem that way this year, but the warm air actually starts pushing northward as the sun's angle gets more steeper and more direct over a local area, so it starts warming it up. The cold air is still holding on. It's still real cold just above the surface, which when we get a warm day, it produces what's called a very steep lap rate.
Right.
In the atmosphere. It gets real cold real quick. It might be 60, 70 at the surface, but it might be minus 100, minus 120, 5-6 miles above the ground, which sets up an unstable atmosphere.
Right.
And anytime you get a strong storm system that moves into that area in the right proportion, if it's centered in the right area, you actually get lift, and that unstable air actually starts to turn itself over, producing severe thunderstorms, and a lot of times this time of year, very strong tornadoes.
Now, I don't think a lot of people realize that, you can actually have tornadoes in March, right? Yeah. Actually, you could have, in Indiana, we can have them anytime.
Yeah, even last winter, with as cold as it was persistently, we had tornadoes in February.
Right.
And there was still snow on the ground. Illinois, I believe, had 6 or 7 tornadoes. We actually had 2 in Indiana. Right after Valentine's Day of last year, 2014. So yeah, despite how cold it is, all you need is one real good warm day, and you can have severe weather.
All right.
Despite what month of the year it is.
Now, another thing we want to talk about, if people's interested in weather, National Weather Service comes out and they're putting on a weather spotter class, right?
Yeah, on the 18th of next week, I believe it's Wednesday, the Weather Service will actually have, it's probably going to be Dave Tusick, come out, and he will do a approximate 2-hour presentation showing what they've discovered, learned in the past year of storm research and so forth, cloud features to identify with actual severe thunderstorms and threats, differences between wall clouds, which are the features that produce tornadoes, if they're going to be a tornado in the storm, and shelf clouds, which are often confused by the general public. Because a shelf cloud is just the outflow that every storm has from rain-cooled air that it actually acts like a miniature cold front, and it produces a cloud as it pushes up underneath. Being the cold air is denser than warm,
Right.
it hugs along the ground and spreads out from its source of origin, pushing up the warm moist air in front of it, producing a low cloud, which is normally tipped, but that tip, or the point, is normally facing away from the storm as the warm air rises into the storm. And it's a lot of times it's mistaken as a wall cloud, but the wall cloud is it stays in one spot of the storm, and the shelf cloud actually moves out and away from the storm. Eventually, it does kill the storm. It does, because it chokes off the warm inflow into the storm. But that kind of stuff there will be gone over during the class and so forth, and it helps people identify what they're actually looking at. That way they don't mislabel it, thinking that we have a tornado or foam cloud when it's only just, for example, rising scud or a shelf cloud.
All right. Now, where's the class going to be held?
It's going to be held at the Emergency Operations Center out there. You go across the railroad tracks there by the bowling alley, over the bridge, and it's right next to the county highway department. Out there close to Prindle, you'll see it. You can't miss it. It's got those real large towers.
That's what I was going to say.
You can see those towers miles away.
That's right. So, and is there any cost for anybody that would like to come out?
No, it's free and open to the public. Anyone with a curious mind in the weather or questions for the weather service are encouraged to come out. Spend as much time. They will often have a break in the middle of it, about an hour into the presentation, and you can get up, stretch your legs. Sometimes we'll have some drinks there and refreshments. We will also be having some free weather radios to be given out to Putnam County residents only.
Right.
As long as your address is Putnam County area, all you have to do is sign down your name, address, number to show that, to signify that we're not charging for these radios, because that information goes back to the state. But it's free and open to the public. The last time I knew, we had over 120, give or take, radios.
Okay.
So it should be more than enough radios for people that show up for the class.
All right, sounds great. And of course, all they need to do is just show up, right?
Yes.
All right. Now, real quickly, we are getting into severe weather preparedness week. There's going to be a mock tornado drill run. Give us some ideas. God forbid a tornado come close to your house. What should you do?
Yeah. Well, the last 2 years we've actually had a tornado each year in Putnam County, but of course it will happen again. It's just a given. It's just a matter of when. But what a person needs to do is just identify the places that they need to go to, away from glass doors, windows. Don't go out and look for it, because if it's right next to you, you're going to see it.
Right.
And it's going to be
Don't be the video guy.
Yeah, you don't be the video guy. That's why I'm out there getting videos and cameras, pictures of, and as I did the one down southeast Cloverdale last October, of all times. But yeah, leave that to the people that are out there for the emergency response. We have cameras on us.
And it's just one of those things, you don't want people to get out and get hurt.
Yeah, you just don't want people to get out and get hurt, doing stuff that they're not familiar with and so forth. And just leave it to the ones that have done it for several years, as myself.
And I tell you what, I want to make mention too, with all the severe weather that actually does come through Putnam County, have you guys noticed more since they've went to the emergency alert system rather than the old EBS system? Has that actually brought down some of the numbers of injuries and fatalities in severe weather?
No, I don't believe so. It's just people putting good common sense to use. But these days we have a lot more people, thrill seekers, that want to go out, see these storms, even though a lot of times they're thinking they're seeing something, but it's not what it actually is.
Right.
But they go out there and they clog out the roads and they cause traffic accidents and so forth, and we don't want that.
Right.
We want people to be safe in their houses and heed the warnings. We're out there to provide these warnings for people and so forth. So we just need people to use common sense and do the right thing.
And the best way to learn is come to the class.
Yes, and just come to the class. You'll see all kinds of videos, presentation that shows exactly what a storm structure is doing, what it looks like, and so forth, and even pictures of lookalikes that even will fool the most seasoned spotter. Like a big fire, the big black smoke rising into the base of a storm.
Right.
And that's fooled several people out in the Plain States even. But yeah, just it's for public safety and awareness of what is actually going on with severe weather.
And when's that class again?
It will be March 18th at 7 p.m. at the EOC.
All right. Well, here's to a safe spring this spring.
Hopefully a safe spring. I was looking over some extended outlooks this past week, and nationally they're expecting a below average tornado season.
That's
as of
good.
Last year. But of course, it only takes that one tornado.
That's right.
We will have tornadoes in the country. Below normal just means under 1,000. So and that's still a lot.
And so, Indiana's a pretty big target.
Yeah, Indiana is a small state compared to others, but for tornadoes per square mile, Indiana is in the top 10.
Wow. All right. Well, Chris, we look forward to having you back here in about a month or so, kind of bring us up to date on some more weather information.
Really?
All right. Thanks so much. Don't forget, if you're a nonprofit group or community organization, you'd like some free airtime here on WREB, you too can be a part of Putnam County Today. Give us a call at 653-9717.